Hey, 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 welcome to Fermyon Office Hours. My name is Sohan Maheshwar. I'm a developer advocate at Fermyon, and this is Office Hours. Today we have Justin. Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sohan.
So, how this works basically is we run a bunch of cool demos for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. Yeah, we like to keep it fun and casual and hopefully informative as well. I already see we have a couple of people. We have Mikkel here. Hey, Mikkel, who did the hand wave emoji thing. We also have Ankur. Ankur, welcome to the show. I'm not sure if you've joined one of our streams before, but so happy that you joined us. We have Fly as well here. Hello, everyone. Oh, Raymond's here as well. Raymond, nice to see you too. Yeah, great. Raymond joined our stream a couple of days ago, so welcome back, Raymond. Yeah, let us know where you're streaming from. We typically get a very global audience. I'm streaming from Amsterdam. Justin, where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in Fort Collins in Colorado.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So some time difference. It's a little late here, but yeah. All
Yeah.
right, so we have a couple of demos to show today, and we are going to be talking a lot about AI. In case you missed it, we did have a big launch about launching serverless AI inferencing on Fermyon, right? And if you don't know what that is, that's what we're talking to you about. And Justin has a very cool demo that he'd like to show us. Justin, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Take it away. Ooh, Fly's
Yeah.
from Amsterdam. Hey, cool. We're in the same city, Fly. Maybe we'll bump into each other at like a future meetup.
Yeah, so last week a couple of folks from Fermyon were at the AI conference in San Francisco, and one of the demos that I built for the conference, and I think it'll become a little more reusable here, um, was an app to kind of help you iterate on your large language model prompts. So yeah, this is just kind of like the front end for it. So I've got a couple of like apps that I've already created in here. So this is kind of just the basic chat app. And you just give it like a name, the name's used in the URL, and then a kind of basic description. Um, and then for the rest of the fields, this is the system prompt. So this is kind of the context that you give to the inferencing request before like what the user asks. And if you don't know, Llama 2 has a pretty specific prompt format, so kind of built into the API, and we can share the code with you as well. And this is all in a public repo. The prompt has a pretty specific format, so it's kind of built into the API to format this prompt as something that Llama 2 expects. So yeah, then down here in your looking like kind of model settings, you can pick one of the two models that we currently support. You can change the number of max tokens and all of the other parameters that are
Justin, quick question for you.
yeah.
What is a token in this context?
Yeah, so a token is usually like part of a word. So when you make an inferencing request, um, the uh, the inferencing request gets like a number of tokens that it can kind of generate. So it gets kind of prefixed with your system prompt and what the user is asking of it. And then based on that, it generates one token and then the next token, and it kind of uses that to piece together different words and paragraphs and yeah, the full answer. So yeah, that's kind of what a token is. It can be, for something like a small word like or, that would be one token. For something like factually, that could be, two or three tokens.
Got it.
Um, yeah, so it,
Yeah.
it kind of varies a little bit by the tokenizer implementation,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Yeah, so then you can kind of tweak some of the other settings that you can pass into the SDK currently. So, temperature, repeat penalty, and that's just the penalty that gets applied to the repetitive tokens and the kind of window of that repeat penalty, as well as top K and top P. I'm not exactly an AI expert. I'm just experimenting with this stuff, like a lot of folks out there. So, if you want more in-depth understanding of what all these parameters are, yeah, feel free to ask, and we can kind of point you to some
Yeah.
resources.
And this demo is also live, folks. If you want to try it out, I've just put the link in the chat and I'm going to highlight it for a brief minute. So Justin's built this demo. As a quick recap, we are showing off some LLM capabilities with serverless AI inferencing. If you want to try this demo out that Justin's showing now, or you want to bookmark it, you see the link below and it's also in the chat. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah. And then, after you kind of set up your kind of basic parameters here, you can go over to this console tab here, and you can send in like the user prompt. So yeah, for instance, that's just kind of like a standard question that I tend to ask, and then it will output, what the user prompt was here. This top part is what the system prompt was when it was executed, and then down on the bottom right here is, the response from the inferencing request. So this is kind of what the inferencing request responded back to us. So we could also say, tell me a joke about cats. And that's a decent.
That's a pretty
joke.
decent joke. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
So, sometimes LLMs they're hit and miss with like jokes like this, but I think this was a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, coming back to kind of the home page here, you can create a new app if you want. So if you want to set like a different system prompt, we've got the kind of default one that Meta uses in their code base here. And then we have some kind of default parameters that we set up here. And yeah. So we've got a couple of different apps in here. Currently, there's no authentication built into this. We might add that someday. But yeah, there's a couple of different apps. These are all kind of based off of our GitHub examples at Fermyon. Fermyon, the AI examples. So yeah.
Okay. So Justin, can you tell us how you actually built this? So what we know that Llama 2 is an open source model from Meta, but how do you go about actually building something like this? Like how does it actually work?
Yeah, so the way that I went about it, I just kind of started working on it locally. So we can pull up the code base here.
I'm very quickly going to paste the code base in the comments as well, folks. And folks, feel free to ask questions if you have any. Yeah, I've even got the little banner at the bottom. Yeah, this is office hours, so you can ask us questions. That's the format. So yeah, however basic or advanced it might be, we'll try and answer them. Yeah, Justin, you were telling us.
Yeah. So the current demo that I'm on is actually the Spin LLM Explorer. So yeah, you can, this one's public, so you can come take a look. This one has a couple of different components in here. So I've got the web front end. That's just a Vue.js application using the static file server. And then I have a kind of a basic completions API that's kind of mirroring what the API contract is for OpenAI. There's some parameters there that we don't support, but yeah, that's kind of what it's trying to target. And then I have another API to kind of store the apps and like the parameters for the apps. So yeah, the front end will kind of list out the apps in the API, and then it'll take those parameters and execute against the completions API. Yeah, and then for local development, I actually rebuilt Spin locally with the metal feature because it adds a little bit of a performance upgrade for me. And yeah, just last week I think Karthik published the ability to kind of run LLM requests from like a local Spin application against our cloud GPUs as well. So that's another option.
Yeah, that's something I will be demoing in a bit. So
Nice.
yeah, thanks Justin for like that good segue. I will eventually demo it, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got one more little kind of library demo to kind of show off as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a different repository. This is under my user tag jfluger and then spin langchain.js. So
Mm-hmm.
after building out the prompting app, I didn't necessarily want to rebuild all of the prompt templating and all the other stuff that great libraries like LangChain have already built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was able to get the LangChain.js node package to work inside of a spin application. So that's what this is kind of showing off here. All I did was implement one of the base classes that they have for large language models, and then from there you can use like prompt templates. So
Mm-hmm.
here you can say, tell me a joke about, and then you add in like the template for whatever the input is. Um, and then you can create the chain here, which is just passing the prompt template to the model. And then I'm actually running two inferencing requests here. That's what this batch will end up doing. It'll end up kind of spitting out one joke for bears and one joke for cats.
Nice. All
Yep.
right. Very cool.
Yeah, and that's all for that demo. I haven't deployed this one yet. Just kind of playing around with it locally. So
Okay, nice. But it is on GitHub, right? So if you want to check it out, Justin's working on this cool little demo. So you can maybe hit the star or the follow button to this repository right here. It's about using the LangChain SDK with Spin. So yeah, check it out. Also, folks, if you have any questions, feel free. This is office hours. This is where we get to answer your questions. Also, if you want to tell us what cool things you're working on, let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, Justin, anything else you want to show off in your demo before we move to the next one?
yeah, I think that's it for now. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some of this prompt templating stuff built into the LLM Explorer. That way, this kind of system prompts and stuff that you build um, can have the templated prompts in there. And long term, we'll integrate the vector store using
Hmm.
SQLite and be able to kind of pull in some context from documents that you can crawl from the web. So
Nice. Okay, very cool. Folks, if you just joined in, Justin showed us this very cool demo of an LLM Explorer. It is live, so you can check it out now. You'll also find, some of the source code on his GitHub. Um, Justin briefly spoke about a new cloud GPU plugin, right? And I thought maybe I can show a quick demo of that. I must give you the caveat that me and live coding, I'm not very good at live coding, right? I usually like to take my time with live coding, so I might need your help. I might need you to help me out. So essentially, I'll take you through the entire step of building a simple hello world type app for serverless AI inferencing, right? Where you can use an open source model such as Meta 2 in your own Spin app. So I'm just going to say something like Spin new, and I will use TypeScript, but feel free to use anything else. And I will call it Cloud GPU, description, HTTP base, path, whatever, right? So Cloud GPU. As you can see, hopefully my text size is big enough. This is a standard Spin app, nothing super fancy here. And I'm going to open that in VS Code. Um, as you can see here, there is a TOML file, which is our application manifest, and there is our source file, maybe too big, which essentially is just our code, right? So what we are going to do first is try and add the serverless AI inferencing, which is the AI inferencing layer to this. So how I'm going to first do that is essentially I will import the large language model itself, which is LLM, and inferencing models, right? So I'm just going to import those two libraries from our SDK. Do note that you have to be at Spin 1.5 and above to actually include this, right? It was in private beta until very recently, but now it is part of the SDK. So if this doesn't work in your app, then, well, you need to be at the SDK version 1.5 and above. So what we are going to do is first add a model, which is part of our inferencing models, and we are going to use Llama to chat. right? There are 2, 3 different models you can use. Llama 2 Chat is a very common one. There's a Llama Code one. There is one for sentence embeddings as well, but this is the Hello World application. Yeah. We don't need this right now, as far as I can tell. And essentially, yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of including a model. I'm just going to make a call using the LLM function. So
I think you might need that encoder.
I need the encoder. Okay. Oh yeah, I might need the encoder. Okay. So I'm going to add a prompt first. So I'm going to say go prompt. And Justin, I'm stealing your prompt, which is tell me a joke about cats. Let's compare cat jokes and see how it goes. Right. And I will say const out is equal to, and this is the key part, folks. You do llm dot infer, and you specify the model and prompt. Right. Oh, there we go. Return. I actually, you know what? Maybe I don't need this for now, but let's see if this works. I'll try and keep it simple, where I'll just return a status as 200 and a body as out.text. All right. So I built like a very simple, it's a hello world version of the app, basically, right? Now, the thing is, if I have to run, I can do an npm install, and hopefully this works. Because this is TypeScript, I have to do npm install first, and then typically I'll do a spin build, which builds the app locally. I do a spin up, which deploys the app locally and for me to test out locally. And then I can hit spin deploy, which deploys it to the cloud. So I can do a spin build, and this builds the app locally. Now, if I were to run and deploy this app locally, I need the AI model also running locally, which I can do. But here's the thing, AI models are large, right? They are like 5 GB, 6 GB, 13 GB long, because they have billions of parameters. And we run it on our local laptops, which have CPUs and not very, very powerful GPUs, most of us at least. So you could do it, but it would just take a bunch of time. So there are 2 options for you to deploy this quickly, right? One is, of course, me doing a spin deploy, which, I forgot to add it to the toml. Well, let me go ahead and do that again, which, of course, deploys this app to the Fermyon Cloud. And in the Fermyon Cloud, it can actually access a large language model from the cloud itself, right? Which is already running on like a very powerful GPU. To do that, you have to add 1 line of code in your application manifest or your spin.toml, which is AI-models equals to llama2-chat. I'm just going to quickly look if this is the correct. Oh, it's AI underscore models. My bad. Underscore models llama2.chat. So this tells my spin application that this LLM inference is going to use this llama2 chat model, but in the cloud, right? And I'm going to do spin build and spin deploy again. And this will actually deploy this app running in the cloud so that anyone can actually access it. So I'll hit spin deploy. If you're following along with me, then well, you need to log into your spin account and have that logged in for it to actually deploy, but that's a 1-click authorization step. So this is going to deploy my spin application to the cloud, right? And it typically takes a couple of seconds, and I should get a URL that's publicly accessible with this app running in the cloud. There we go. Now, hopefully the demo gods are on my side today. Let's actually see if this works. Yeah. So we got a cat joke. It says, sure, here's one. Why did the cat go to the vet? Because he was feeling rough. Get it? Rough like a cat's fur. Oh, never mind. I don't know if I had to explain the joke, Justin. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a close one. I don't know. I feel like rough might be more dog
Yeah, I know,
related,
right?
but
Yeah,
yeah.
close enough. I think Justin's LLM cat joke was better. What do you think, folks? Let us know. Either way, the app is working. But here's the thing. If I'm building like, a production grade app with API, it's not super convenient for me to sort of deploy this every time I wanted to test like a small change, or if I was doing things like prompt engineering. I could choose to do it locally as well, but that takes a lot of time, right? It takes like a good maybe 5 minutes for the AI model to run to give you a response. So a couple of engineers in Fermyon, shout out Karthik, Caleb, and the rest of the team, actually built a plugin which allows you to test locally, but use the AI model running in the cloud. And I think that's pretty great, right? So I'm going to try and run it in this app right now. So this works with the canary release of Spin, so it won't work in the production release. It's in the canary release. We're still testing it out. The instructions for this I will add in the link that I will share with you. You have to install a plugin called Cloud-GPU, right? And essentially, if you see Spin plugins list, hopefully you'll see it there. Yeah, you can see Cloud GPU installed. That's the plugin you need to install to test something locally with a model that's running in the cloud. So how you do that is actually very, very simple, right? I'm just going to Spin Cloud GPU init. And what this does is this initializes this particular plugin for my Spin app, right? And how it works is, actually, I'll explain to you in a bit how it works. I first want to actually make it work. So yeah, it's deploying the Fermyon Cloud GPU Spin app, and it outputs a certain runtime configuration, which we will add to our app, which we can then use to actually go ahead and you know, run it locally with it in the cloud. So yeah, there we go. Now, this is the runtime configuration for my local app to use the AI models running in the cloud. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open my app again, and just a second. Yeah, there we go. At the root of my project, I'm going to create a new file called runtime-config.toml, right? So let me just check if I've got the name correct. Yeah, right, runtime-config.toml. And what I'm going to do is copy this runtime configuration that's been generated for us by the plugin and paste that in paste that in the app here, right? So I got a URL, I've got an auth token, and I've got a runtime configuration. Now, essentially, all I have to do is run spin up again, but use this particular runtime configuration to run spin up so that it runs locally. So let's try it out. There we go. So I have the canary version of Spin installed in this particular folder, which explains the paths that I'm specifying. I'm not doing Spin from my root directory because the canary release is here, right? So I'm specifying the latest version of Spin, and I'm running Spin up, as you can see here, but with a flag, which is runtime configuration flag, and the toml file. And let's see if that works. So spin up, as you know, will deploy this app locally. So that's what's happened here. Ooh. And I'm going to copy that and run it in the browser, and hopefully this should work. Now, there we go. Right? So Llama is being a little snarky today, I think. It's saying, no, wait, tell me a joke about cats that is just not a pun or a cliche, something with real humor behind it. So I'm asking Llama for a cat joke. Llama is asking me for a cat joke. Anyway, whatever, it did work, right? So essentially what's happening here is, I can show you the architecture diagram as well. This is the link for our plugin. When we do Spin Cloud GPU init, essentially it goes to the Fermyon Cloud GPU, which then goes to the serverless AI service and gives you this particular runtime configuration. And that's the one that we are pasting in our in our runtime configuration.toml, and that's what's being used when you deploy your app locally. Right? So let me run that again. Again, this app is running locally. You can see it. It's at localhost, whatever, but it's going to the Llama model that's in the cloud. Yeah, so that worked. I'm going to post the link to this plugin here. Do play around with it. It's still not in our it's in the Canary release of Spin, so you'll have to download that and point to that release specifically. But yeah, you can play around with it and let us know what you think. Justin, does this open any other use cases or improve your workflow by in any way?
Yeah, certainly. I think for me, it helps to just kind of iterate on your prompts and running your inferencing requests in a little bit quicker fashion. I don't have an NVIDIA A100 sitting around at
Yeah,
home, so yeah.
yeah. Let's try another joke from our cloud deployed app. Ah, you see, my cat knocked over a vase and broke it. Llama is being very snarky today and is asking me for jokes about cats. That's very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, either way, you know. So yeah, that was the demo. Again, do try it out. The link is here. It's github.com/fermyon/spin cloud GPU. Again, just as a recap, you can run your spin apps locally and test them out, but use the plugin in the cloud. Again, a great way also to get started if this is your first time building an app with serverless AI inferencing. So yeah. Folks, if you have any other questions, we have a couple of minutes before we call it a day. So now's your chance. Justin, what else are you in? What's in the pipeline for you to build? I know you're working on a lot of cool AI stuff.
Yeah. I think for me the next thing is just kind of implementing some more of the base classes in the LangChain JavaScript SDK for Spin, because it unlocks a lot of like really cool ways to build out prompts, and also like for instance being able to like crawl our docs website and add that to the context of the prompt. So if you're asking, how do I create a new Rust application, it'll be able to kind of grab that chunk of text from our docs or one of our tutorials and add that into the prompt as an example, and that really improves the accuracy of what Llama is able to output. Um, yeah, so I think that's kind of the next step for me. I've got a lot of learning to do on the prompt engineering stuff.
Hey, we all do. We all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a couple of really cool guides out there. So yeah, working my way through them, getting to the chain of thought prompts and all
The
that
Lang
stuff to
chain of
kind of,
thought prompts.
yeah.
Never mind. Never mind my terrible jokes. I think we let Llama make the bad jokes. Yeah, folks, we're almost out of time. Super interested to see what you are building with WebAssembly, serverless AI, whatever. Join us in our Discord. Let us know. Say hi. We're a friendly bunch. We'd love to talk as well. Or if you just want help building your app, or if you want ideas, hit us up on Discord, LinkedIn, whatever. You'll find us. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We do fairly regular live streams. I think we have one next Tuesday as well, where we're doing more AI and more GPU stuff. And we have Josh Missout from CIVO, the Chief Innovation Officer. So yeah, join us for that as well. And oh yeah, we have Steve here as well. Hey, Steve, nice to see you around. We were just finishing our stream, but just to give you a recap of what we built, Justin showed us a very cool demo, which is somewhere here. Oh yeah, here we go. Of some cool stuff he's building with prompt engineering and serverless AI. I did a quick demo of our new Spin Cloud GPU, where you can build Spin apps locally, but use an AI model that's running in a powerful GPU in the cloud. So you can actually build and iterate really quickly by using a cloud GPU that's running. And yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. And with that, we bid you farewell. Justin, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
Ankur, Steve, Fly, Raymond, Mikkel, everyone else who joined us, thank you again and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.